Hey guys, welcome back to Dirk Files, and something completely different. What you're looking at here is the Elegoo Mars Neptune 2 3D printer. It's a filament printer from the company Elegoo. Yeah, I've been putting off getting into 3D printing for some time, fighting the urge because of my compulsiveness that I have, knowing that I would go out of control with it. So I fought it and fought it. And then I recently came across this. Now, when I was looking at 3D printers not that long ago, what really caught my eye to it was the Elegoo Mars Pro 2 resin printer. What I liked about it is because it was resin, it had a lot smoother surface when it was finished, so it meant less sanding and such. So that's what I was looking at. And then, I was speaking to a member of our community, Nick Ambergy, and he had one. And he was talking it up how much he loved it, and he actually sent me some stuff that he built with it. And it was just too cool, and I was sold. And I was doing the research on them and everything, and it turns out these printers, or at least that model printer, is very affordable. I mean, it's only just under $300. Now, I'm not trying to say that that's affordable for everybody. I'm not trying to be pompous or anything, but when it comes to 3D printing and prices, that's a pretty decent price, especially for, I'll say, newer technology such as resin printing. So I decided I was going to dive into it. And what I did was to fund this, just to keep peace in the family and everything. I decided to sell some of my stash in order to fund it. This way I can buy this new thing and not have any money out of pocket. So I went on a little selling spree. I sold a bunch of my models, and sadly, while I got the money that I needed, I didn't make much of a dent in my stash, which is the sad part. But that's another story. So I had the money now, and it was time to purchase the printer, and I kept putting it off. I put it in my cart, take it out of my cart, put it in the cart, watch the videos, watch just about every video out there. But I just for some reason wasn't pulling the trigger on it. Then I came across this printer, and this is a different type of printer because it's a filament printer as opposed to resin. But what I liked about it is it had a nice big bed compared to the resin printer. And again, with that obsessive compulsive disorder that I have, I knew I'd want to print big things that I wouldn't be able to on the resin printer, at least not at my level of expertise. And this printer was even cheaper. I mean, this one, I didn't even have to ask permission to buy because it's only $150. I mean, you can't beat that. Even if I decide I don't like it or I can't do it, it comes out to be the cost of taking my family out to dinner. So I decided, what the hell? I ordered it, brought it in the next day, assembled it, and this thing has been going ever since. I love it. It's actually a lot of fun. So I'm not going to do a review on this because there's a lot of guys out there that can do it a lot better than I can. My old age, I find myself getting a lot tongue-tied and not being very coherent, but you could look and you'll find a lot of reviews and they'll talk about it. This, for me, unlike those reviews out there, those guys got those printers for free, most of them. I'm just a printing virgin, and I paid for this, and I really dig it. But I wanted to show you some of the things that I've made with this printer so far. Let's go take a walk over to my bench, and I'll show you what I made. I just want to show you guys what I've been making with this 3D printer, or just some of the things. It's been really cool. The first thing I made, I couldn't help myself, because I went back and forth on what to make as my first project. My first one was this. Get my lights here. Okay, you may recognize this. This is the fertility idol from Indiana Jones, from the very first movie. Okay, this is the one where he tossed this, the sand and the idol, and what do I do? And this is that. Okay, so it's really kind of cool. All right, and this is what it looks like. This was printed with blue filament. This is just primer after doing some sanding, but as you can see, it still needs a lot more sanding and stuff like that. That's the thing about filament printing. It really takes a lot of effort to smooth the surface and stuff like that. But still, I don't care. I think that's cool. I mean, really, really cool. And it's hefty. I mean, I hit somebody with this. This is going to hurt like hell. Not that I would, but it really could. So don't mess with me. And to complete the stand, to complete the look of this, what I did, I mean, you can put it like that and you're done. But what I decided to do is I went out and I found this Aztec calendar here. Let's zoom in on this. Look at the detail in this thing. All right. That is really wicked cool. So I thought that would be neat to print and then take this and put it on top as a stand, you know, just to kind of complete the look. I think that's really cool. But really, this came out really cool. I'm happy with this. So that's that. Other things I printed. Oh, here's a cool one. Haven't gotten very far with this, but this, and it looks funny right now because the supports are on it. I left half the supports on it as part of my build video for this. But what this is, those that don't recognize it, this is a Hammerhead from the 1990s TV series Space Above and Beyond. It was really a cool show, one of my favorite shows. And I found this online. It was free, so I printed it out, and it's pretty cool. It needs work, don't get me wrong. It's not perfect, but it really is kind of cool. Really neat, and not for nothing, even though it's not perfect, considering the number of Hammerheads that are out there, I'm okay with it. The only thing I have to do is I have to go and locate some U.S. Marine Corps aviation decals for it so I can kind of doctor it up the way it was on the show. But, you know, it's really kind of a cool print. The detail is pretty decent, again, for filament printer. But yeah, it's kind of cool. So yeah, Space Above and Beyond. Neato. Another thing, this was my first fail print, but it had promise. What this is, let me hold on a second. What this is the USS Aries from Star Trek Axanar. Okay, really not bad. The problem was, for some reason, the printer decided to skip a line here, so when I took up the supports, it just broke off. And of course, my infill was, I shorted myself on it. So this is not the printer's fault. This is my own fault. I did see somebody print this with success, so it can be done. I just kind of screwed myself on it, but it's a learning curve, right? So it's no big deal. It also kind of did a step here for some reason. I'm not sure why, but again, not a big deal. I thought about keeping it and trying to fix it, but you know what? I'm just going to take what I've learned and print another one. But in the meantime, for this, I'm going to remove these engines, and I'm going to save these engines for another project. I don't know what yet, but you know, still, it'd be pretty cool. Oh, and this is also printed out at 1/1000 scale, so it would go with my Enterprise or everything in the 1/1000 scale ships. So it'd be really cool to have it all. I like all my ships to be in the same scale, so I think that'd be cool. So yeah, that's the USS Aries. So it's doable. You can do starships. Again, may not be perfect. You know, the modeling guys might not think it looks perfect, but when you consider the amount of models out there for this, or the cost of what garage kits are out there for like $100+, yeah, not bad. I can deal with this, you know. So that's one of the projects. Failed, but still a success. Okay, so another thing that I made was this. Okay, this is a little hard to picture, I guess, in its raw stage, and it's still got all the supports on it. These up and down pieces are supports, and they're still in here too. But this is the USS Saratoga. This is also from the 90s TV series Space Above and Beyond. Basically, this is a space carrier that the Hammerheads flew on. Okay, again, it was a very, very cool show. Only lasted a season, but that's what this is. I'm going to clean this up and get it painted and stuff like that. Again, not a model you see very often. Okay, Space Above and Beyond was something that was definitely underrepresented in the modeling community, but Cool. Very, very cool. Then we got Groot here. Baby Groot. As you can tell, this one was finished. But yeah, this is Baby Groot. I printed this up, painted it, and my daughter now has this on her dresser. She likes it a lot. I like it a lot. I think it's pretty cool. Came out great. But yeah, very, very cool. Groot. And then we also have this from Star Wars I printed. This, if you can't tell because of all the supports are still on it, is a Gonk Droid. Again, very cool. I like Gonk Droids. They're really neat. Again, the supports are all on it. You can see the feet there. So all this honeycomb stuff you'd see would come off to reveal the bottom part of the body and then its legs. And then, again, a Gonk Droid. Pretty cool. The neat thing about 3D printing also is when you get something like this, you could scale this up and you can make a huge Gonk Droid or a tiny one. You can actually scale this down if you want to match your figures, maybe actually scale this down to sit on a diorama next to your MPC X-Wing if you wanted to. Really cool. So there's some things that you could do with 3D printing that to enhance your modeling. So Gonk Droid, cool. Then there's this one. Pretty proud of this one. This is obviously Thanos from Infinity War. Okay, this is his bust. Okay, again, all 3D printed. It was very cool. I'll have a video on this up shortly. You can take a look at it. But yeah, Thanos, really, really cool. And then I decided to do something really big. My first multi-print job, and that is this right here. Okay, this is the head of Thor's hammer. Okay, here's just one of the parts. It's got the inscription on it. That's going to sit here. Then you got these two parts here for the hammer. Okay, that's what it looks like. All right, so that's going to go there. Fits together real cool. Requires a lot of sanding and filling, but still very, very cool. And here's a neat thing. I just wanted to show this. This is the part of the hammer, the scrolls that go on the side here. It goes all the way around. But look at the detail in this. Let me bring this in. Even for a filament printer, okay, the detail in this is amazing. It looks really, really cool. So when this is put together, it's going to be pretty neat. So that's that. Now, I'm not going to lie. This is not... 3D printing is not really an easy thing. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's really not an easy thing because it does take some effort. It's not as simple, it's not as simple as hitting the button and print and you have an exact copy come out. It's not that easy. It takes some effort. I've been having a lot of problems lately. My first week, I had one fail, and that was the Aries that you saw over there. Since then, this last roll of filament I've had lots of failures, and I think it's the filament in this case that's doing it. It would snap in the tube, it just got brittle and snapped in the tube, which the print would keep going and then and stop, away from it. I couldn't get back to it, so a lot of wasted filament. But again, it's a learning curve for me, so that's what it is. But it is really neat. Another example is this right here, what you're seeing here. This is another one I thought would be really cool. This, roughly, is Crichton. You might recognize him. He was from Buck Rogers. The second season of Buck Rogers, the season that really tanked the series. It was an awful, awful show after that. But yeah, it's Crichton. I thought he was pretty neat. He was, I think, your first sarcastic robot that we saw on TV. But what I mean by it's a failure is that this is supposed to be one piece. And I think the print originally would have been about this big. But I was able to scale him up to like 9 inches, which was really cool. But when I took him off the bed and I started pulling the supports off, he just broke apart, which again is a fail. I'm not sure if it's me or, the printer or the filament. But yeah, it keeps breaking apart. and I decided I was going to try to fix them just because the brakes were clean. But so you can see here, this ring here, he broke off here at my thumb, and then there's this section up to here broke off. So you can see I'm trying to put it together and make it all better. Yeah, again, I don't know if I'll be able to or not. I might just have to reprint it. But you got to admit, it's pretty cool. But again, I think it has to do with the filament. There's something wrong with the filament that I got. I'm going to order a different brand. Hopefully that helps. But yeah, it just broke off. But again, this is just an example of some of the things you can print. And it just, as a modeler, just really takes everything to another level. So it's pretty cool. So you got figures, and you got statues, and you got ships, and all these cool things that I can now print. So it's really, really neat. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. I think I'll have videos on almost all of these as I complete them. So stay tuned for that. And until next time, guys, be strong. Remember before when I said I didn't want to get into this because I knew I'd go overboard? Well, here's proof of it. I've only had this printer right here for, at the time, I had it for about a week. And then Amazon Prime Day came up, and this, the original printer that I wanted, the Mars 2 Pro, this came online at Amazon for $60 off. I'm not ready to work with resin printers, but I couldn't beat the price. Again, $60 off the $300 price, best price I'd ever seen on it, so I grabbed it. But I controlled myself. I didn't buy any resin, so I can't do anything with it yet. But this is sitting here, so now I have 2 printers in a matter of a couple weeks. So see what I'm talking about, overboard. And the cool thing is, here's the kicker in the ass. While it's kind of seems a little overboard to go and get 2 of them so quickly, between this printer and this printer, it only cost me the amount of money that I spent, or that I got when I sold my kits. So it's still 2 printers and no money out of pocket. So how can you beat that? Is that freaking crazy or what?